You are listening to Indie Radio, where we do content the indie way.
Four minutes left. Three minutes left. Two minutes. One minute. Thirty seconds. 10 seconds.
Hey guys, welcome to another awesome episode of the Infectious Geek. This is Star Wars Love It or Hate It because may the fourth be with you. Joining me today is my wonderful co-host Kinte Ferguson. Hi Kinte.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? So glad to be
Hey.
here.
Yes. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for talking shop with Star Wars with me. And
I'm glad to be here.
good. I'm glad. Anything happened in this week that you're interested in telling us about?
No, just remodeled my office.
Oh,
And yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
yay! What about you, Jen? Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. And
That's good.
no, I live a very boring and very dull, terribly dreary life. One day might as well just be the next. So,
Hey guys, can't tell.
All right.
Yantel. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So today we're going to talk about Star Wars, love it or hate it. You guys are going to probably hate me, but I will go with hate it because first of all, I think it's too played out. Second of all, I'm a Lord of the Rings girl. So bring me Voldemort, Harry Potter. I like that. Bring me Aragon and Gandalf, and I'm super happy. I can sit and watch The Hobbits all day. I can sit and watch Lord of the Rings, the entire trilogy, without any breaks. But Star Wars to me is just it's a pinnacle in our pop culture. Everybody wants to like Star Wars because it shows your inner geek, right? And that's what's cool right now is to be a geek and to be a nerd and to be nerdy. And so everybody's like, yeah, man, I love Star Wars and Yoda's the best. But like really at the end of the day, like, is it really the best? What do you guys think? What about you, Kinte? We'll start with Kinte first.
I like Star Wars. Star Wars is cool. I mean, I don't have an issue with Star Wars at all. I think Star Wars is. I mean, look, the last trilogy started off great and then ended really badly. But the original trilogy was great. Um, okay, dang. Now I'm just gonna destroy my argument because the second trilogy wasn't that great either. But the video games are good. Also, well, The Mandalorian is amazing. So The Mandalorian's
Yes.
good. So I mean, overall, I like Star Wars. I like the concept of Star Wars. I like a lot of the classic characters of Star Wars. I think overall, Star Wars is pretty cool and it's so influential in pop culture. And it helped popularize this little guy, this very well guy that no one ever heard of, named Joseph Campbell.
yes. Can
Oh my gosh. What about you, Jen? What do you think about Star Wars?
Okay, so I'm just gonna throw this out there, right? I think a lot of times, right, I'm Gen X. And
Okay.
I think a lot of people Gen X grew up on
I didn't know you were Muslim.
yeah, well, I try to keep that under wraps, so don't be telling all your friends. Uh th- but I think if you grew up watching Star Wars, there is a sense of nostalgia that you get no matter what you're watching. So even if you're watching bad Star Wars, which I think there are some bad Star Wars, um, you still get that same rush that you got when you were young, when you first saw your very first Star Wars, whether you saw it in a theater or you saw it in a drive-in or you saw it on TV, whatever it is, you just get that sense of, oh yeah, this is so important, this is so special. But then there's a whole, I gotta say this because I think it's so important. There's a whole group of people out here now. My kid is one of them who absolutely cannot stand the regular Star Wars franchise. And when I say that, I mean like the movies. But then Mandalorian comes along, and she is absolutely crazy for everything that is Mandalorian. Loves the story, loves the merchandising, loves everything about it. You cannot get her to sit and watch a regular Star Wars movie. So it's crazy because it's such a huge, pardon the pun, universe, but it's such a huge universe to be a part of that, like, it's easy to kind of pick and choose little things here and there to like. And I guess my overall opinion is, yeah, I love it. But that's not to say that there aren't like pieces of it that don't sit wrong, And then I'll let you guys discuss this too, but partly I also think that we really hate on not we, but a lot of people hate on Star Wars a lot because of some bad decision making, and I sort of don't think that that's fair, just because there's a lot to still love. So that's how I feel about it.
Okay, so my next question is, do you think that the original Star Wars, the original one that started it all, do you think that is a pinnacle in pop culture? Like, do you think that spawned every other sci-fi movie from that point forward? Hi, Elijah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, not every movie, but it changed the industry in so many ways. I mean, it from the special effects to just the way that there's been so many clones and knockoffs and parodies, and it really showed what you can do from a marketing standpoint and whatnot with the toys and all of the different things that came along with it. It's and then it just about every major director of note that we all love of a certain age, especially, is was they'll go back and they'll say that was the thing that changed them, like from Christopher Nolan to J.J. Abrams to I mean, you just go down the list and you see that everybody was a lot of people were inspired by it.
When I decided to go to college, I specifically went to a college to study filmmaking, and my intent was to become the next George Lucas. Like that was how high in esteem I held the work that George Lucas had done, and Star Wars was no small part of that. So it clearly had a huge impact on definitely me, but I know other people that also felt the same way, like, oh, if only we could aspire to be that good.
And that's why we call Jen George.
on my good days, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what? Wait, real quick. I'm so shocked that Jen didn't say anything about Tory saying that she loves Lord of the Rings. I'm just surprised.
I'll get into that. I was going to get into the fact that there's room in the love of all things lore, and especially if you love Joseph Campbell, lots of things to love, both from the Star Wars perspective and also very Jungian from the Lord of the Rings. We'll talk about it. Don't worry, I didn't let it slide.
So okay, so all right, Chewbacca. Let's start with the love it or hate it. Like, let's start with the love or hate it with characters. Do you love him or him?
Chewie?
Yeah, Chewie, of
Actually,
course.
in case people don't know what he looks like, maybe I should I should pull up I love this one right here.
Oh, he's so
Aww.
cute. I
Uh
want
no,
Look at that little face.
how can anyone not like Chewbacca? Chewbacca is, I mean,
it.
no one knows what the hell he's saying except for Han Solo. I guess he went to Wookiee
Yeah,
school.
Wookiee Academy.
He
Yeah,
took Wookiee in college, I guess. But
yeah.
no, he's cool, man. He's tall, he's brave. He has a crossbow. He takes no shit, you know. He likes that weird, what's that in he was eating those little creature thingies on
Worf.
yeah. I mean, you gotta love him, man. He's great. And Chewbacca is he's the most absurd looking thing, but you know, it's like if you look at him, just look at him with no context. You're like, is he rolling with Bigfoot?
You know, that's kind of what I thought. Like whenever I first watched Star Wars, like I was little, and I was like, "Is that a Sasquatch?" Because you remember the movie Harry and the Hendersons.
Right.
Yeah, like I loved that movie when I was little, and like whenever I first started Star Wars, I thought of Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, that's
Right.
funny.
Yeah, he does. He does kind of low key look like that. Um, yeah. So you gotta love Chewie. Chewie's the man. I mean, I don't think there's. You know how some characters there's a love it or hate it thing.
Yeah,
Uh, Chewie is probably universally loved. I mean, what Star Wars fan goes? You know what? I like Star Wars, but I could have done it without Chewbacca.
right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's. Okay. Universally, everybody likes Chewie, right? Jen, you're on the board with Chewbacca.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
There's
All
a
right.
whole culture behind the Wookiees.
Yes, there
Like
is,
them.
and Ewoks too, because they're just so cute. Ewoks are
now,
adorbs.
now Ewoks. See, now that's another thing. I'm gonna tell you about the Ewoks. Okay.
Okay, you tell me about
Oh,
the
okay.
Ewoks.
Lay it on me.
Okay. So the Ewoks, and let's pull up a picture of the Ewoks. So we'll give them their proper due. I like the Ewoks. I thought they were cool. I saw that was the first Star Wars. That was the Star Wars I saw in the theater. Was that one right? The other two, I was too young. You know, despite what people think, how old I am. It was Return of the Jedi was the one that I saw in the theater. And just as a side note, I was so excited to see Return of the Jedi that the movie was what, over 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Right.
About 15 minutes into it, I had to use the bathroom. I held it for the rest of the film because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to miss it. I'm sitting there doing it, the dance you do with your legs when you
Yes,
got to use the
the
bathroom.
pee dance. Yes.
And I was like, either I was gonna pee on this in the theater, or one of the things was gonna happen. I was gonna either hold it successfully or pee in the theater. I just want people to know when the credits went up, I made a beeline right through the crowd. And now at my current age, that no, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm not stupid,
Yeah.
but I love the Ewoks. Right, I grew up loving the Ewoks. I didn't even know how much hate until I got older. A lot of people hated the Ewoks, and they thought it was like one of the worst things that they did in the original. And I was so surprised. I thought they were universally loved, but there's a lot of hate for the Ewoks. I'm not one of the haters, but
What
Yeah.
do you think? Okay, I didn't know there was a whole hater.
Oh my God, they
definitely.
hate.
There
Yeah, they
is.
hate the Ewoks. There's a lot of hate for the Ewoks. And I love
On
those
par
guys.
with Jar Jar Binks. On par. Like
Yeah, I
same
was going to
level.
get into Jar Jar Binks next because I hated Jar Jar Binks. Well, no. Okay, I liked him, but then I was like, man, this guy is like Dave Chappelle whenever he plays the crackhead in the Chappelle show. Like he's kind of like really annoying, and then like I was like, he's so stereotypical and like I don't know. I just felt like they could have done a lot better job because in in the books, like I don't know. I'm talking about the books, but like in the books, Jar Jar Binks was a little different.
A
Okay,
lot different.
I've told this story before on indie radio, and I'll tell it again. Why not? It's the fourth. I have a different relationship with Jar Jar, and I'm gonna tell
Okay.
you why. Before I saw Phantom Menace, as you can see, there's the picture. It's a black guy who played Jar Jar Binks. It's a comedian by the name of damn. Oh my, Ahmad Best is his name. And so before I saw it, there was this great story like on 60 Minutes leading up to the release of the film. I want to say it was 60 Minutes where they talked about how he was this comedian and this was like his big break. And you got to see like he was this nice kid and he was just seems you just rooted for the kid, right? At the time, right?
Right.
And then so when the movie came out, I was already rooting for the character, even though the character was annoying or whatever. But I didn't hate it. I think I was colored by the human interest story that I saw first.
Right. Okay.
And then I felt bad for the guy when it was all the backlash because he just seemed like a nice kid who got a big break, and this was supposed to be his big break and all of that. And as you can see, he considered suicide after the backlash, which is a damn shame. He doesn't really even like to talk about it at this point. And because I've tried to reach out to him because I wanted to do an interview with him because I don't see interviews with him. Just, but I can understand why he doesn't want to. But you know what, man? They're doing all these side projects of Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Mandalorian. We need a Jar Jar Binks Disney Plus series to go into his origins and what happened after Order 66. And I want to see what happened when he went into hiding, when did he become a Jedi? Did he fight some battles? Did he or did he get married and settle down and have some little baby binks? So I mean, you know what? Who wouldn't watch a Jar Jar Binks like a mini series, not a whole 13 episode? Come on now, we would watch it. We'd watch it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I would watch it. I would. I would watch
I
it.
was not of I literally couldn't understand why even after hearing what people said about the character Jar Jar, why they were so viscerally upset with it. I mean, it almost started feeling like, and I mean, I know this gets into a whole nother, can of worms, but honestly, it felt like people were just gatekeeping the fandom to be gatekeepers of, well, none of the characters can be anything other than exactly what we want them to be. And it felt so disingenuous. Like, that's not what Star Wars is all about. It just didn't feel right. It felt so wrong. Plus, too, the other thing, which I feel like is so important to say is, during that whole thing, aside from the way that he talks, which I think is really the only thing that made people flip out, because other than that, when you think about the levels of contribution that Jar Jar Binks actually made during a whole vast time period, it's huge. It's bigger than a lot of characters that we have grown to love had influence over. And
yeah, I think it's underrated too. Yeah,
You know what we should do? We should start a campaign of I don't know, maybe May the 17th, where it's Love Jar Jar Day, and every meme, everything has to be pro Jar Jar and giving shots to Ahmad Best, because that's a damn shame that this.
Does anybody have Jon Favreau's number? Because let's call him, and
he could be in The Mandalorian.
right?
Maybe he's with Baby Yoda right now. You never know, right? And we got to talk about Yoda and Baby.
Yes. So okay, let's switch gears to Yoda. course, I love Yoda. I do. Do I like him? I am. I do. Like he's wise and he's old and he's a badass Jedi. Like he's the whole package in a little green package. I mean, you can't. I don't know. Elijah said Jar Jar January, and
I
that's
love it. I love
love it. Anyway, so like like I think that like with Yoda, he made Star Wars he was very influential in the story. Like he made Luke, he helped Obi-Wan. Like he was a very influential person in the entire Star Wars series. What do you think, guys?
Okay, I got to take this one first, and you know what? Slings and arrows are gonna come at me, and I'm willing to take it. I like Yoda overall. He's a great character, but if you want to call out Jar Jar, I got to call out Yoda.
Okay, fair
A
enough.
couple of things that I got to call out Yoda for, and I've said this before on Indie Radio. In episode 3, Yoda was a biatch. He takes on Emperor Palpatine, right?
Right.
All he had to do was defeat him. He's supposed to be the baddest ass Jedi on the planet, right?
Right.
He drops his little lightsaber, which he couldn't use his power to get it back. And then he cuts and runs. And then not only does he cut and run, he goes into hiding.
Yeah, that
true. Made no sense. Why didn't he get the cavalry together? So, okay, all right, I had to leave. Let me get everything.
Get all his homies, you know.
He literally gets the hell up out of there when he realizes he can't beat Palpatine. Then he goes, "Get me into hiding." You know, like I mean,
hiding I am.
Yeah, what a biatch. I'm like, no one even calls him out for this. And then he's the biggest hypocrite in Star Wars universe. He tells Jedis to go to be abstinent. Once you're a Jedi, you can't have sex. And he got a freaking baby. He's an illegitimate dad, and his baby is over there. I like Yoda, but he is a hypocrite. He's sitting there fathering children, and baby Yoda don't even know where his damn daddy is. Okay, and somebody said, well, they haven't said that was his father. That's his daddy. Look at him. You don't need a DNA test. That's his daddy. Okay,
right.
So
right.
I'm calling Yoda out. You're a hypocrite. Oh, all the other Jedis can't have sex, but you can. Stop it. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know, I didn't think of it. Those are two very good points.
although, listen. In Yoda's defense, okay, the chance for sex probably only comes along once every 200 years because, I mean, the poor guy, he's wrinkly and green, okay? All the other Jedis have plenty of opportunity. He probably has 1 in 200 years. So, you know, when it comes along.
You don't think he uses his Jedi powers to get laid? Come on. She's all like, I don't want to sleep with you. He's like, you do.
Sleeping me with you, I do.
You know what? They need to have an intergalactical Me Too investigation into Yoda's practice.
He's a regular Harvey.
So, Tory, I got to tell you this story. So
okay, absolutely.
I actually read The Lord of the Rings before I watched Star Wars. Okay, I was really young when I read The Lord of the Rings. Well, I was really young when I read The Hobbit. But I used to call Yoda Star Wars Gandalf.
Yes.
Because that was the way that I expressed how, oh, Yoda's so wise and so smart, and you know, he's like the Gandalf of Star Wars.
I mean, he is.
Really, he did. Except I think that Gandalf is sorry everybody, but I think Gandalf's a little bit smarter than Yoda. Yeah. I feel like Yoda. You know, one thing. I know there's the fight scene, and that really is disturbing. I agree. But I also absolutely hated the way that Yoda treated young Anakin. And part of my like super frustration with the way that Star Wars in its entirety treats young people is this there's always this sense of either you are diminished or you are dismissed, and it always feels to me like, well, no wonder there are so many dysfunctional, horrible people in this universe. Nobody is paying attention. It isn't until Mandalorian that anybody is paying attention to smaller people, little kids, and saying, oh yeah, maybe it's important that we take care of foundlings and things, because yeah, maybe these people are going to grow up and become important. So
Right.
yeah. Let's
No,
just throw Luke and Leia off wherever. I mean, we don't really need to figure out where they are, what they're doing. Nobody really needs to watch what's happening because, it'll be fine. The universe will take care of them. Oh my God. It's just like, wow.
I do. Seriously though, I really do like Yoda though. He's pretty cool.
In Yoda's defense, I kind of do like him.
He's kind of a pimp. So.
Okay, so the next one I'm gonna go with Han Solo. I think he's a cool cat. Now, he's not the smartest guy in the world, and he kind of reminds me of Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
true.
Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Like, he's too cool for school, but like, it wears on you, the whole tooth, the fawns, or like, like, hey, yes, he also has a huge ego. Elijah's right. And like, I think that ego kind of got in the way of him being awesome later
He's the
on.
original lovable rogue.
Right.
Like, if that term was a whole generation of women grew up loving the bad guy because of Han Solo.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I liked the bad guy because, I mean, who doesn't like bad guys? But
We
like,
can have a talk about this later, Tori, you and me.
absolutely. We'll have a whole show on bad guys and villains. We'll just talk about villains. That'll be really fun.
Are we talking about your dating preferences, or are we talking about character?
Well, they kind of blur together. So
Yeah, they really do.
But why is it that women say, "I like the bad guys," but then they go, "These men ain't nothing"? I'm like, well, if you date bad guys, what do you expect?
In fiction, it's really different, though. In fiction, it's actually really fun. One of my favorite moments with Han Solo, honestly, one of my absolute, like, this was sort of the moment that I felt like, oh yeah, this guy is actually really cool, is when he finally in Empire Strikes Back, it finally seems like he has kind of turned the corner and he's really going to be like with the team, and then they throw him in carbonite. At that point, I don't know how you can not feel like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Chewie really bounced off on Solo, and like, they were like a lovable pair. I don't know, like, I'm really kind of glad though that Princess Leia didn't fall for his shit, like, at first. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think about Han Solo? Like, for real, what's the breakdown?
I mean, great character. He totally shot first. Love his relationship with Chewbacca. Love, his relationship with his son, Father of the Year, of course. I think, if you are murdered by your own child, does that mean you failed as a parent?
No.
Okay, that seems pretty much like a failure when your kid is murdering you. But
no,
I'm
not
just
at
saying.
all.
I'm just saying. But I'll say this: he is one of the all-time iconic characters. And Harrison Ford is one of the all-time iconic actors who's played him. So, just great character.
You know, as a breakout movie, the Solo movie was one of my more favorites, just because it was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Without
Really?
Harrison Ford, but just the character, just all the stuff that went into the character. It was really fun. I really liked it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I did.
It's the bad boy image again.
Probably. But it was just fun. I mean, from a fictional standpoint, it was really interesting to get a kind of backstory that wasn't so cut and dry, that wasn't so like everything is. That's the thing I think about Han Solo that a lot of people like, is that there is a huge gray area in between the good and the bad, and he's not like always aligned in one direction or another. It feels very shadowy and very like lots of ambiguity, and I think that makes the character really work. Whereas a lot of the other characters are just so perfectly aligned with one side or the other. And it just, I don't know, there's just something that feels good about that.
How could the nice guys win when even the nerdy girls like the bad boys? Like that's see, that's why I'm not nice. So because of that, like you can't win.
But
If
it's
you're a
only
nice
in
guy,
fiction. But it's only in fiction.
no,
Real life,
that's
that
in
doesn't
real.
work.
In
No, it
real
doesn't work
life,
in
you
real life.
guys love the bad
Nope.
guy.
Doesn't work in real life. Only works in fiction. I would
No,
never want to.
no. We're not saying it doesn't work about it working or not. We're saying if you
I
date a
mean,
bad
it
guy,
doesn't-
it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. No, I agree with you.
I would much rather date the Mandalorian than date a Han Solo or just about anybody. I mean, I would much rather find somebody who shows good moral character. But what would I want to read about? What would I want to express that sort of fantasy world? Yeah, I want to be part of that. Yeah, those are always the bad guys. And,
Yeah.
and the good thing is that Star Wars gives us so many bad characters. I don't mean bad like they're badly written. I mean like Star Wars gives us so many characters to hate on in the best possible way. I mean, Emperor Palpatine was one of my favorite characters to hate on. There was nothing redeemable there. It felt so bad. And I loved that because that's without being a caricature of himself, that's hard. As a writer, that's hard to pull off. And Star Wars has so many.
Yeah. I mean, I think also that like they're loving to you love to hate them. You know what I mean?
I mean, nobody's walking around going, "Oh, that Jabba the Hutt, he's such a good guy."
Right. But we're like, oh, the Darth Sith. Yeah, like
the Darth Sith. I know there's redemption in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The only one who seems like it's only changed because of Mandalorian is Boba Fett.
Okay, yeah. Boba Fett's pretty fat. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's pretty dope.
I mean, it seems like there could be something there, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, he's a pretty cool character. I mean, okay, so let's see. We talked about. We can talk about Boba Fett for a minute. I think he was pretty badass. Pretty badass. Like, I liked his character. I liked his character in the books. He was a good rogue character too. Like, if we're talking about rogue characters, like he was the perfect, Aragon-esque, like if we're going to compare Lord of the Rings, like he came in and he helped and he brought the community together to fight the war, right?
Right.
Maybe am I wrong? I don't know. Like, Star Wars is not my forte, so if I say something that sounds really blonde, I'm sorry. But like, I think that like with all of these characters, I read the books when I was little because my sister had them. And so like I grew up being like, what, why isn't anybody, like I didn't understand why like things were happening so backwards, like why the movies were so like out of sync. Like it didn't make sense to me. But as I got older, I just learned to accept it. You're
But
not going to
but
get.
now we know now. I mean, now they've officially said that the books are not specifically like there are two separate universes. The books are
Yeah.
not canon to the actual universe of Star Wars, or they are, but they are canon unto themselves.
They're
Yeah.
And
cannon.
so
They're
then the
cannon
movies
fodder.
have their own canon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like if we're going to compare apples to oranges, or the Walking Dead show to the Walking Dead comics. It's kind of,
Yeah,
it's like loosely based off of it.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So
But
okay.
there really is, and I mean, not to push it, but since we're talking about geek stuff, if you really are interested in something that is rich in detail and very story oriented, the Star Wars books are phenomenal. But so
Mhm.
too was the Star Wars animated series, which
Yes.
brought so much depth into just everything. I mean, there were and this is watching it as a kid, right? Or as a kid. There were so many moments in that animated series when I felt like this is exactly what I want to do. I want to be a writer because wow, look at what these people are doing. Like it just filled in so much. So if you haven't seen it, it's really worth it to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, didn't they take the books off the market though? Like, isn't it really hard to find them now?
They are really hard to find now.
Yeah, like my
I
sister
don't think
had the
they print
whole
them
collection.
anymore.
No, they don't. They're out of
Yeah.
print.
Yep.
And like my sister had the whole, I think she still does, has the whole collection of them. Like
Ooh.
she's a real Star Wars nerd. And this is where her and I differ. I think maybe like we're just not the same. Uh, like she likes I just she likes Lord of the Rings. It's just not her cup of, it's not her. Star Wars is her cup of tea, and it's not necessarily mine. It's not that I dislike Star Wars. Like I really do like Star Wars. Like I just said, the animated Clone Wars was a big missing piece placed in the whole picture. I'm really glad they put it in.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Elijah was really sad that he doesn't have a microphone to use because he really, really wanted to come on here, and he's a real Star Wars nerd, and it would have been fun to have him on here. But I think we're gonna have to do a part two because I have to go in a couple minutes. But this is really fun, and I want to keep going with it. So we have like 5 more minutes or something like that. Um, I want to say that like with my level of knowledge of Star Wars, like it's not as much as a lot of people's, and I understand that. So like you guys are gonna probably teach me a lot more than I actually know about.
Can I get one more in?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, Darth Maul was badass.
He was, even though he went out like a biatch. But
Yeah.
but it was like I'm sitting there like, why didn't I guess he just didn't realize how cool he was gonna be because he really should have kept him through the trilogy.
Yes.
And it was a big mistake. And I think he's even admitted that it was a mistake. And then they have the whole thing where he didn't die and he has the spider legs and all that stuff. It's like, no, like it
Yeah,
was,
no.
like, they should have like knocked him off the thing or something, but he shouldn't have died because he should have died like in episode 3 or something. I get, because if you travel the arc, he needed to die for it to go to where it went to, but it's a movie. They could have figured it out. So yeah,
Yeah.
with the robo legs. But yeah, and because he's supposed to be because they brought him in Han Solo movie. They had
Right.
him back, and people didn't understand it because they didn't know the side stuff while he was alive. But you know, and then I mean, spoiler alert, he does die in the cartoon at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi on, I believe, Tatooine, right? That's
Mhm.
where he gets it, and it's a great scene too. But
I think
you
his
know,
bloodhound mentality, like he was Palpatine's bloodhound. He
right?
was,
Yeah.
yeah, and I like that. Like I like characters like that, like that have a purpose, and they're. He was so evil though, like like he epitomized a villain, and that's what I liked about him.
I mean, this guy literally looks like the devil.
Yeah,
And the actor is really very excellent.
yeah. Didn't he
Son,
do all his old stunts too?
I believe so. It
Yeah.
wasn't he like a Ninja Turtle or something?
I think
Or
he was a Ninja Turtle. Oh my
yeah,
god, yes, I think he was like the original '90s one with Vanilla
I believe
Ice.
so. I believe,
Yeah,
but with Vanilla Ice, hilarious.
Vanilla Ice. Oh my god.
remember, like he was like, go ninja, go," like that.
Unfortunately, I do remember that. Yes.
Okay, well, this has been like super fun. I've been
So
hanging out.
just to close, I'm gonna just because this I have to say this. If you read one Star Wars book, just one, right?
Yeah.
Read Splinter of the Mind's Eye. It's written by Alan Dean Foster. It is one of the best classic Star Wars books out there. It is Alan Dean Foster was an amazing writer, but it is written so well and gives you such insight. If you only read one, that's the one to read.
Okay. Nice. All right.
Well,
Well, go
well,
ahead.
well. I mean, if you're gonna read only one, you got to read my book. Uh, Jar Jar is the greatest character in Star Wars history.
That's called Jar Jar's Revenge. That's where he comes
Yeah.
in and he like basically schools every single one of us and says, see, told you.
Right.
I love it. All right, so we're going to do a part 2 on this because there's many more characters that we need to get. Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't
And
even talk about Luke.
I know, or Princess Leia, or
Yeah.
yeah.
What's this
anything.
thing you guys kept talking about? Lord of the Rings. What's that about?
Well,
How did that go?
Tory, we need to, as soon as Amazon posts a date, we need to do something Lord of the Rings because the number of people that are going to be interested in that is it's going to be huge. It really is.
Absolutely. Like I'm down. I'm so down. Like oh my god. I want to there is a restaurant around here.
Elijah
Elijah.
Kenobi.
I love you, Elijah. Okay, so oh, Robert Booker said a Han Solo book I read 7 times in a row as a teen. That just grabbed me. Okay, cool. So all right, so there's a restaurant here that is like the Shire's little tavern,
Oh, like the Green Dragon?
Yes, like the Green Dragon.
Cool.
And it's called something different, but like I really want to go to it. It's like right around the corner, and I'm definitely going to go to it. But
okay, after I get my second shot, I'll fly out and we'll go out to eat there.
Okay, cool. Alexandria is really cool, actually. This is a cool city. But all right, so we're gonna get going on to next week, and we're going to talk about mental illness, but I think we're going to put that off until Kurt can join us. So it might be a week or two. But I think next week we'll finish up with part 2 of Star Wars Love It or Hate It.
All right.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Jen, how can people get you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at following Bliss1, and that's really about it. So short, easy, following Bliss1.
Okay. How can they get you on social media, Kente?
They can get me at Kente F on Twitter and Kente Ferguson on Instagram. And of course, the website is indyradio.org, indyradio.org.
All right, you can find me at Tory Rush, TORYRUSH on Facebook. You can get me on Rush Tory at Rush Tory on Instagram, and I don't have a Twitter, but you can follow me on either one of those. And if you're a weird guy from uh, some foreign country, I might not accept your friend request. I have to like dig deeper. But anyway, so thank you guys for joining in, and we'll see you next week.